Welcome, dear listeners, to Crunchy Stories, the enchanting podcast that will whisk your English skills from acceptable to amazing, from proficient to positively spellbinding. I am Ariel Goodbody, your bewitching host, here to regale you with tales that will captivate your imagination and elevate your linguistic prowess. But before we embark on our literary adventure, allow me to express my heartfelt gratitude to those who have graced us with their kind words of appreciation. Their reviews are like melodious refrains that inspire us to compose ever more entrancing stories. Hailing from the enchanting land of Czech Republic, Adelan12 serenades us with these mellifluous words. Hello, I am from Czech Republic, and I just want to say thank you so much for your help. I am really in love with your podcasts. Why, thank you, Adelan12. How delightfully serendipitous that today's tale finds its roots in the rich tapestry of Czech folklore, but more on that tantalizing thread later. From the distant shores of Taiwan, Gaby Ban Lao Shi chimes in with an enchanting tribute. Fun and easy to understand, thanks for making these podcasts. The pleasure is all mine, Gaby Ban Lao Shi. If my translator's whispers ring true, your name seems to harbour a playful jest in the melodious tongue of Mandarin. Might you perchance be an erudite purveyor of knowledge yourself? And from the sun-drenched realms of Saudi Arabia, Ultumul perhaps a diminutive ode to the noble Tom? Graces us with this sonorous serenade. I really like your voice, it is clear and smooth, and the music by the end, I really love it. Don't change it, please, thank you for everything. Oh, Lil Tomul, your words are like a soothing balm to my storyteller's soul. I shall endeavour to keep the lyrical cadence of my voice ever flowing, that it may accompany you on many more enchanting journeys. But now, my rapturous raconteurs, let us turn our attentions to the opus at hand. As I've intimated, today's narrative finds its roots in the fertile soil of Czech lore, a saga penned by none other than Karel Jaromír Urban, that illustrious 19th century curator of folklore and fairy tales. But not only did Urban's quill breathe life into this fable, the celebrated Czech composer, Antonín Dvořák, was so enraptured by its captivating verses that he crafted a musical interpretation, through which enchanting melodies did I first encounter this spellbinding tale. Yes, fellow linguophiles, today's offering is a poem, a literary form whose melodious rhythms and metaphorical refrains can oft bewitch the mind. But fear not, for I shall be your linguistic Sherpa, guiding you through the symbolic veils and metaphorical peaks with utmost care. Much like when I adapted the legendary Sir Gawain and the Green Knight for last year's Yuletide episodes, a veritable odyssey, you can revisit at easystoriesinenglish.com/Gawain1. I shall endeavour to make this poetic quest accessible to one and all. For while poetry may seem an enigmatic realm to the learner's eyes, I staunchly believe that no soul should be deprived of its transcendent splendour. Thus, to light your path, I shall first regale you with a summary of the story's sweeping narrative arc, that you may be perspicaciously prepared for the metaphoric meanderings to come. My rendition, while honouring the original's profound depths, has been judiciously abbreviated and lightly amended, a practiced storyteller's concession to the constraints of our fleeting time together. Envision, if you will, a water monster, a goblin, if you're of a more fanciful bent, perched beside a lake's tranquil waters as night's velvet mantle unfurls. With dexterous fingers, he weaves his wedding garments while murmuring a blithe tune to himself, for he intends to take a human woman as his bride, spellbound by the alluring prospect of their intertwined lives. But as the monster's marital musings waft through the evening air, a mother's dreamscape takes a disquieting turn. She envisions her cherished daughter, resplendent in nuptial finery, a gossamer gown swirling with frothy patterns, an iridescent string of pearls adorning her delicate neck. Yet beneath this superficial radiance lurks a disconcerting shadow, a sadness woven into the frothy folds, a madness flickering behind her eyes' depths, for the gown's frothy fabric is naught but a tearful veil, the luminous pearls mere crystalline droplets of fear. Dawn breaks, and the mother's daughter rises, a basket of soiled linens in her arms. "I'm off to the lake to cleanse these clothes," she declares, but her mother's heart clenches with the memory of that ominous reverie. She recounts the visions with tremulous tones, beseeching her child to heed the portents and avoid the treacherous waters. But the siren call of the frothy waves proves too alluring, and with airy reassurances, the girl sets forth. Arriving at the lakeside, she immerses her garments in the crystalline depths and sets to her chore with vigour. But the waters have their own sinister choreography, swirling and frothing until the dread water monster himself emerges from the depths to seize the young woman's garments as their grotesque dowry. In a whirlpool of terror, he drags her into the shadowy oceanic abyss, force-feeding her soporific herbs to ensure her slumbering compliance. In this grim undersea kingdom, a most unholy union is solemnized amid a ghastly retinue of crabs and fishes, the grotesque ceremonial repast an unappetizing array of seaweeds. Yet when the drugged bride stirs from her stupor, she finds herself bound to this inhuman spouse by the most tender of ties, a newborn babe, his tresses the verdant hue of the deep, his eyes sparkling rubies clutched in a cherubic visage. Though initially mild of mien, the child's very presence unlocks in the mother's breast a torrent of lamentation, her anguished thoughts adrift on currents of longing for the terrestrial loved ones so cruelly sundered. As the sunless days blur into one another, the imprisoned bride's dewdrop hopes turn to the fragile dream that her offspring might one day escape this cold, cruel, unwholesome realm of fish and crabs and sargassum seclusion. Yet her cloying spouse is as merciless as he is covetous, conscripting her to an endless cycle of culinary, menial, and even choreographic servitude, while he sups on the very souls of hapless humans, quaffing their anguished essences with liberal draughts of brine. Tormented by her plight, yet steeled by a mother's inexorable devotion, the desperate bride at last gives humble voice to her yearnings. Might she not be permitted but a single day on the sun-kissed shores to reunite with the loved ones whose memory sustains her? For 100 anguished pleas and more, her entreaties dissolve like foam upon the monster's obdurate refusal to bend his unyielding will. Her despair is such that she would readily embrace complete metamorphosis, sacrificing the last vestiges of humanity to purge herself of feeling, to relinquish forever the aching burden of heart and soul. But even the most adamantine will can be eroded by the timeless rhythms of love's ceaseless tides. Disquieted by his bride's escalating desolation, the water monster at last relents with 3 inviolable provisions. She may visit her family for but 1 day. She is forbidden to embrace any among them. Their precious offspring must remain behind as surety for her return, and she must heed the solemn peal of evening's final bell, lest she be forever sundered from both worlds. With her child's loving embrace etched into her disconsolate heart, and her spouse's dread admonitions lending ominous cadence to each step, the wife retraces her path to the emerald-haloed realm of the living. Oh, what rapturous bliss to reunite with her doting mother, to share an embrace so profound and uninhibited that the very fabric of love itself seems rewoven in that single profoundly cathartic moment.